Okay, so we're going to have a look at another question from the 2020, this is the HSC Standard 2 Maths paper. This is question 29. So we're told Jana owns a share portfolio. Details of her share portfolio at the 30th of June 2020 are given in the table. We're told the number of shares of company ABC, the dividend yield, and the market price per share. We're not told the number of shares for company XYZ. We are told its dividend yield, and we are told the market price per share. We're told that her total annual dividend for the year is $149.52. Calculate the number of shares Jana has in company XYZ on the 30th of June 2020. Okay, so the total dividend, which we'll call TD, is equal to the dividend from company ABC plus the dividend for company XYZ. The dividend for company ABC is 6% of the market price per share. That's the dividend per share, and then you have to multiply that by 200. So to calculate the dividend, it's the product of the three numbers listed here. So the dividend for ABC is equal to the number of shares she has multiplied by 0.06 multiplied by the share price. This is because 0.06 times the share price is the dividend, and she gets that amount per share. So this is the number of shares she has. So this product gives you the dividend. The same is true for the dividend of company XYZ. The total dividend for company XYZ is the number of shares in Jana's portfolio. Let's call that alpha, multiplied by the dividend yield, which is 0.04, multiplied by the price per share, which is 6. So we can write this as 149.52 is equal to 200 times 0.06 times 5.5. So this is dividend of ABC, and I'm going to put this in my calculator. 200 times 0.06 times 5.5. That is 66. Plus the dividend of XYZ, which is 0.04 times 6 times alpha. So 0.04 times 6 is 0.24. So this is alpha times 0.24. And now we just need to solve this equation for alpha. So here we're setting this up as an equation and we're solving it. This is fairly common in any topics of financial mathematics, to think of a financial problem as an equation and solve it. For any students who are going to go on to study economics or finance, as an undergraduate I studied both economics and finance at the University of Newcastle as part of the business school. My major areas of study were economics and mathematics. My additional areas were finance and philosophy. Economics and finance very much work like this. Turn things into equations wherever you can and then solve them, because equations are solvable, right? So this is one way to do this, and this is a very common structure for those of you going to continue to do finance. So we solve this as a linear equation, minus 66 from both sides. We get 149.52 minus 66. That is 83.52. 83.52 is equal to alpha times 0.24. Divide both sides by 0.24. 0.24. This gives us alpha. The missing value here is 83.52 divided by 0.24. That is 348. So the value we were trying to find was 348. So therefore, Jana owns 348 shares of XYZ. And this is the correct answer. And this formatting, solving equations like this, looks a little bit unusual to some students. But if you're going to do something like accounting or actuarial science or finance or economics, this is just how it's going to work, right? You're just going to turn things into equations and then solve them mathematically wherever possible, because that's what makes sense, right? That's how business schools tend to deal with those particular topics. So 3 marks here. You get 1 for setting up an equation that either describes how to find the dividend of XYZ, the dividend of ABC, and compare it to the total dividend. So you get 1 for some sort of attempt to turn this into an equation. A second mark, they're very likely going to want you to have found the dividend for ABC, or to have found what the dividend is for XYZ. So this section of working. Then for the third mark, you're going to have to find the number of shares. So these questions usually work like this. You get the first mark for some working, the second mark for some working that's accurate at the start, and at least one useful value. So in this case, it'll be the total dividend associated with ABC, and then the third mark is always the answer. So this is how these questions work. Not too bad if you do them in the right way.